that's high in fat and high in carbs, you have about 1 minute to finish your meal because you won't be enjoying it as I move from the opening of my speech to the body. Can anyone give me a guess what percentage of the American population is currently overweight?
90?
70.
91.
70%. About 70% of the American population is overweight. How about obese?
35.
Right around there. 30% of the American population is obese. Why that epidemic? It's because of the rapid weight gain due to our lifestyle choices. That's the real reason. And tonight I'm going to spend a few minutes explaining why weight gain / fat gain happens and how it happens. And by now you should be completed your meal if you're enjoying it. That's it. We store fat under the skin, also in the liver, and in the muscles. Fat cells are generated in the body in the last stage of pregnancy. Fat cells multiply in number while we grow up in our teenage years. Once we are past that age, they don't grow up in number anymore. They only grow in size. Now there are a few exceptions where the body can make more fat cells, but these are exceptions. A normal fat cell is a small organ, minuscule organ, but in some extreme cases it can become as big as an egg. That's one cell. So how does fat gain happens in the body? If you're enjoying a meal that has fat in it, you put fat in your system, digestive system. The digestive system breaks down the fat into very small fat particles called chylomicrons. These chylomicrons penetrate through the intestinal lining. From there, they go into the lymphatic system, and from there they enter the bloodstream. Now, the very small fat particles are carried through three sides. One liver, one muscles, and one fat cells. Once they get to a fat cell, the small fat particles cannot actually get in. What they need to get in is an enzyme that's on the outside of the fat cell that's called lipoprotein lipase. And something has to activate this agent to let the fats in the fat cell. And what that something is, it's actually one of the most powerful hormones in the human body. Does anyone have a guess which hormone I'm referring to? All ears? Insulin.
Yeah.
Insulin is the villain. That's what makes us fat. He plays the largest role. Somebody's taking notes. That's good.
No.
And to illustrate this, I want to refer to an analogy. Say this room is a humongous giant fat cell, and we're all fat droplets in this fat cell. Now, instead of one sergeant in arms, we have two sergeant in arms tonight. And the hallways out there are the bloodstream. The meeting has started, and I'm giving my speech, and we're all quiet, and the sergeant in arms at the door, and all of a sudden a few late members rush in Perkins. They get to the door, and Stephanie Ferry stops them and says, "No, you can't get in right now because the meeting has started and the speaker is speaking. We can't interrupt the meeting." And the sergeant in arms is the lipoprotein lipase thing that I talked about on the outside of the fat cell. At this moment, a huge guy appears behind everybody and says, "You, Open this door now and let everybody in. And poor Sergeant in Arms, what does he do? Open the door, come on everybody, and you're welcome, welcome. And the huge guy peeks his head in and tells the other Sergeant in Arms, you, shut the door now, and for as long as I'm here, don't let anybody out. And this guy is the insulin. So in other words, insulin makes us fat in two ways. It tells the fat cells to open up and accept the fats from the bloodstream. And number two, it signals the fat cells to not release fats to be used as energy, as the body needs them. So next time you think, when you're when you're on a fat loss diet or whatever, and you're having a little sugary snack or something. So what's causing all the deal? Number one, too many calories in a single meal. And number two, too many carbohydrates. Both starchy carbohydrates, refined sugars, simple carbs in a meal. So what do we do about it? Number one, eat small meals throughout the day, well-balanced meals. Number two, try to avoid as much as you can eating starchy carbohydrates, simple sugars, and many carbs overall, combined with fats, of course. What that does is it helps you ensure that the body releases insulin only in small amounts throughout the day, and it doesn't create spikes of insulin. So here is the goal for you for tonight. When you go back home tonight, make it a point not to eat a large meal right before you go to bed. Instead, if you're hungry, have a spoon or two of say, low-fat cottage cheese. Why? Low in fat, low in carbs, high in slow-digesting proteins. It'll take you through the night. The body won't starve. Make this a habit. And here is the goal for tomorrow. Instead of having one or two giant meals, make it a goal to have 5 or 6 small meals throughout the day. And here's the rest of the goal. Make it a point not to have too many carbs of all sorts throughout the day. And make this a habit too. And if you succeed, maybe 20 years from now when we see each other somewhere and you'll say, hey Ivan, I still remember that speech number 6 you gave. And I took some notes and I applied some of the advice, and it helped me maintain good weight and in a way stay healthy. Mr. Tosman.